Well, broads, before we dive into this piping hot Bachelorette recap, we need to talk about candid clear aligners. I had braces for years, and I wish these things were around back then because, oh my gosh, they've completely changed the game when it comes to teeth movement.
It's true. Candid clear aligners are way more comfortable than traditional metal braces. They're removable, so you can still enjoy all of your favorite snacks and treats, and they're practically invisible also. Plus, big bonus, the average treatment is just 6 months, and you'll see results even sooner than that. And the best part, it costs thousands less than metal braces. And unlike other aligner companies on the market, Candid works only with licensed orthodontists that specialize in tooth movement. So you'll have your treatment prescribed and monitored remotely by the same orthodontist from start to finish. So you'll have clear updates the entire way, and it's never been easier to get the smile you've always wanted.
Start straightening your teeth today. Right now, all our listeners can save $75 on Candid Starter Kit. Go to candidco.com/chatty and use code chatty. That's candidco.com/chatty, code chatty. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. candidco.com/chatty, code chatty.
And welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Hello. I hope you're watching the YouTube right now, because if so, you would just have seen Jess's Bennett impression.
I'm doing my Bennett smile. Hi, Tayshia. Hello.
Smells fresh in here.
Smells fresh in here? What do you live in normally, like a meat locker? There's never been a more horrifying statement come out of a man's mouth entering into a woman's abode than saying it smells fresh in here.
You know, I'm going to play Bennett's advocate here, and
Bennett's advocate.
maybe he's just feeling awkward and just trying to make a comment.
That's fine.
First thing you think, I can't see anything around me, so smells fresh in here.
That's fine. Coupled with, you know, if it was one of the other gentlemen,
This is not an isolated incident.
I probably would have been like, that's a strange thing to say.
But it wouldn't even be strange, you know? Like if Ivan said it, he's like, ooh, smells fresh in here.
I'd be like, oh my God, Ivan, you're so cute. You're
Wouldn't
right.
think
I
twice about
just
it.
did a bunch of laundry
Bennett
and
goes,
it does smell fresh.
Hello, Tayshia. Good to see you.
When Bennett pops out from behind a bush and has a smile like that, hi, Tayshia, hello.
Smells fresh in here, Clarice.
You know that was the energy I was getting.
Oh, yes, I know, because I got it too.
Yep. I was
evening,
shaking
Clarice.
watching it.
Good evening. That's my Anthony Hopkins impression. What do
Good
you think
evening,
of it?
Clarice.
Good evening, Clarice.
I was waiting for him to shut the door and just be like, Tayshia, you want to play a little game? Oh God, I'm so afraid. Anyways, hi, broads. Hope you enjoyed that Bachelorette episode because, again, I mean, these episodes are taking us on such a journey I cannot even believe. The ups and downs, the shock, the dismay that I feel is just strong. It's so strong in all of these.
First things first, do we have any tea?
Well, we have some tea that maybe we want to just a quick moment before we dive into the Bennett Noah conversation with Tayshia.
Yes.
And it involves Noah. You're gonna love this. It involves Noah and calling Bennett privileged. So. Bachelor in Quarantine, which is a great Bachelor Instagram account, noticed that you know how we talked last week about how it sounded so weird, the clip of Bennett bringing up privilege and you didn't see his face?
Yes.
And then we're like, was he bi?
Yes.
Okay. So Bachelor in Quarantine got a close-up of the art piece that Noah made. And the word privilege is on the art piece. And what Noah said was, how do you spell privilege? Or can you spell privilege? And
Oh my God.
so he probably was actually just asking how to spell the word privilege. And that's why it was edited so weird.
But Bennett brought it up. He said that Noah called him privileged.
Did he though?
Right?
Now I gotta go back and watch.
Did he though?
I gotta go back and watch.
I'm pretty sure we talked about it because we said last week, we said Bennett acknowledged it, so he must have heard it. It's not like it was in ITMs. Like it wasn't in interviews because...
Which maybe at some point, at a different point
called him
in
privileged,
conversation.
but it wasn't a snarky privilege spelled with the I.
Right. Or like or
wait, that makes actually a lot of sense. Like I think the clip was literally just Noah going privilege is spelled with an I.
Right. And then like if you actually think about spelling the word privilege, I struggle every time I spell it.
Do you
do
is
it an E or was it an I?
So it literally could be like he was making the art piece and goes privilege is spelled with an I.
Bada bing. And at some other point in their conversation, when they've been going back and forth so much, maybe Noah said to Bennett, like, well, you know, with your privilege and your Harvard degree and blah, 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 and sometimes you make people feel blah, blah, blah. Perhaps that was the whole thing.
That's very interesting. Also, along those lines, it seems like there may be a little bit of privilege in Bennett's life.
Yes, indeed.
Apparently he grew up in Buckhead, which is a wealthy neighborhood in Atlanta. He went to a Marist private school. Don't know what that is.
Not sure. Sounds expensive.
Harvard does not give scholarships.
Okay.
And his current net worth is estimated to be $3 to $5 million.
Oh my God. Bennett, did I tell you how much I love you?
I mean, when people do net worth,
all of a sudden you're sliding into someone's
like, let's see what my
DMs.
net worth says. Becca Martinez net worth.
Oh my gosh, this is exciting.
Do you think you're on here too? If we type in just Amber's net worth?
Definitely not. I'm not there yet. I'm not on WikiFeet yet. One step at a time, baby.
Estimated net worth, in 2019 between 1 and 5 million.
That was your estimated net worth?
For 2019. That's a big jump.
That is a big jump.
A few million.
That's a big jump.
Good to know they think that of me, though. I love to hear it.
We love to hear it.
I don't even know what net worth means.
Like
Jess Ambrose net worth. Somebody's Googled it before.
Oh, love that. Glad that people are interested.
Anyway, I digress. So that's that.
But if his net worth is out there at this point already, I'm guessing. I mean, like again, we know he's in like wealth management and investments, so he's a wealthy person.
Yeah.
So, and that was the thing too. That was the school that he went to before Harvard. Like his high school, elementary is like a very
wealthy
expensive private school. Yeah.
I
mean, whatever.
You
Just
know.
run with one story, Bennett. You know what I mean?
Just stick to the rich thing.
Just stick to that. That's just your deal. That's fine.
The only thing I wanted to talk about is how horrible Tyler Cameron and Matt James's merch is.
Yeah, is that Matt James's merch?
I don't know if it's
just
Tyler's, but regardless,
Tyler's.
Tyler is putting Matt James on his merch.
Yes.
And one of them is like a pizza in front, and he's naked with a pizza, and Matt James is sitting there next to him in the photo on these shirts. I hate this whole like we're best friends shtick. It's cringe. It's embarrassing.
We know you're not really friends. We know this is all for a show.
And then their merch is James Cameron 2021.
Oh yeah, the one that looks like Reagan.
Like, stop aligning yourself. You're not his vice president.
Yeah, it's such a strange dynamic to me.
I'm sure he's going to appear on the season.
Well, he absolutely.
times.
I think that's been confirmed that he was there. Also, Hannah Brown was there, I believe. I know Tayshia was there.
Why was Hannah Brown at La Quinta?
Hannah Brown wasn't at La Quinta. Hannah Ann was at La Quinta.
I meant Hannah Ann.
I don't know, and we are waiting to see. Also,
do you think that she came in with Tayshia, like maybe they were considering either or of them for the running for the Bachelorette to replace Do
you see my eyes spinning right now?
To replace Claire.
Interesting.
Could be.
Totally could be.
I think they were both considered.
Also, Clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
Their podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And we thought maybe they'd be like promoting it. Well, here's something strange. Clickbait started. It's Tayshia, Hannah Ann, Joe, Grocery Store Joe. Very random crew, like we said. We were very confused by the coupling. They went a few episodes, and suddenly Hannah Ann just wasn't on it anymore. Disappeared.
What?
Mm-hmm. She's not on it anymore. Look at the cover of Clickbait. She's not even on the cover anymore.
Like they tried.
She's been excommunicated. So we have to know what is going on.
So now it's just Tayshia and Joe.
Right on the cover. Hannah Ann is not even there. So we have to know what happened now. Now my brain is spinning. Hannah Ann was spotted at La Quinta. What if they did film with her and they cut it out as they cut her from
This is
clickbait?
so bizarre. Hannah Ann was just on the Explore page. Why though?
I don't know.
Like, what could she have done?
There's a few options, right? First and foremost, maybe she started to do clickbait and it was like, this, I like the idea of a podcast, but like it's not for me. But I would think that they'd have her under contract, that she would at least have to do it for maybe a year. Maybe she really wasn't good and they didn't want her on anymore. Or because
I mean, that happened. What happened with remember, it was originally Rachel and Ali Fadowski.
Yeah, Allie ended up leaving.
Yeah, but what happened with that? We never got the full tea on that.
I think,
Was it just because of family stuff? Or?
I think it was like a combination of family stuff, and I think she was getting like, people were really giving her a hard time on it.
Yeah.
I think, and she was going through some rough things, and so I think she ended up just leaving. But think about this, Becca. Okay, Hannah Ann has not appeared on the show yet. It was confirmed she was in La Quinta.
Yes.
Next week, they're doing hometown dates. So why would Hannah Ann be around then? Understandable that Hannah Ann would have been around during these other dates, like how Becca and Sydney showed up. But why are they going to have Hannah Ann show up at any point past the hometown dates?
I don't know.
We've now seen everyone. We've now seen everyone else that was spotted there. Okay, so beforehand, what was reported was Sydney was spotted there. Sydney, Becca K, Ashley, and Jared and Wells, and Hannah Ann was the only other person, and we haven't seen her. And next week is hometowns. They're not going to air her. I bet 100. Like, I'm convinced we're not going to see her.
Why was she there in the first place? It just doesn't make sense.
The files, the missing files of Hannah Ann, cut from the show.
I really want to know why she's not on clickbait anymore.
Cut from clickbait. What happened?
I don't know. She's not one to rock the boat.
Send us all your theories, because now I'm starting to panic. What is happening to Hannah Ann? Okay. Anyways, let's get into this episode. Okay, I did want to make note of something very quickly. Obviously, we start again. It's full Noah, Bennett, and Tayshia. Beforehand, we see the men talking.
Mm-hmm. And they're all talking about the beef.
Yes, and we see that, Zach is just like, it needs to be done. Let's go. As Zach is speaking, Ben is melting, talking about Tayshia. We see them talking. Ed is on the couch in the corner. Barely see him in the screen. Legs are crossed just like this, and has a very tiny spoon, tiniest spoon I've ever seen, eating pudding viciously.
That is so perfect for the character arc we've created for him of being the henchman.
I know. And then even later, after Bennett gets sent home, we see Ed
stress eating pudding.
Yeah, stress eating pudding, but then also opening the box in front of the men. And he's opening it and pulling things out. Like, look at this. He's the one touching and handling the box. No one else. Just Ed.
Oh, Ed, but you will be missed.
What a loss. I can't wait for you on Paradise, Ed.
Oh,
we are going to have an Ed who is, I think, probably in love with Kelsey. And Kelsey will reject Ed over and over, but Kelsey will be trying to hook up with Spencer, or a Noah, and then not be having it work with them, because they'll be going after like Hannah Ann or Maddie or whoever or Victoria. And then Kelsey will eventually be like, fine, Ed, and then they'll have a Carly Ed Bass situation.
Oh my God. I love that prediction. I love
you.
it. I think Paradise will definitely happen, because if they don't do like the out in public dates, otherwise easy to do Paradise. You're just staying in one resort with everyone the whole time, and you can do random little horseback rides and shit like that.
Yeah, I think they definitely will be doing Paradise.
It's exciting.
Oh, this is going to be a great cast for Paradise. Oh my gosh.
But once again, then it's like, all right, are we going to have another Bachelor? We've talked about this before. I'm still curious. Like,
Yeah,
are they
I
going
don't
to do another Bachelorette season right after The Bachelor?
And then
do
too much. Just do Peter's
pause.
Peter's women and mostly Peter's women, mostly Tayshia Claire's men.
And Matt James women.
I know. It's just too overwhelming.
I
to think about all these
agree.
people.
It's too overwhelming.
It's too
Only the
much.
strongest will survive through casting. Okay, so meanwhile, Bennett's just correcting Noah on all of the insults.
Everything. Constant correction.
Oh no, I didn't say that you were a fourth grader. I said you argue. It's like arguing with the fourth grader or whatever. It's like, okay, that's way better somehow. What?
His eyes are getting more and more black as
Beady.
he's speaking.
So creepy. I love it. Okay, now this just was the worst.
Okay. Yep.
Tayshia asks what's in the box, or says what's with the box, and then doesn't ask what's in the box.
Okay. That was definitely Franken clipped in there. I went and rewatched it numerous
What's
times.
in the box?
But then Bennett answers.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. But when she said that, they panned away from her face and the sound was
It's like
totally
what's in the box?
Or no, she said what's in the box.
Oh.
But it sounded like it was from a different time.
Interesting.
But Bennett still brought it up. So
Regardless, I was really mad that he didn't unpack it in front of her.
I know.
That's all I wanted. But I just couldn't understand why the whole thing I've been waiting for all the past week is for the box to be open and Bennett to explain each thing like he did to Noah, to Tayshia, and have her just be horrified, and we didn't get that.
We were waiting. We deserve Bennett's explanation of everything that's in the box to Tayshia. I wanted to see her face, and I wonder truly if Tayshia would have actually seen Bennett explain it, how her feelings on Bennett would have changed.
And it was bizarre because even through this conversation and then through her private conversation with Bennett, I thought that she was just totally over him, could not stand him. I thought producers were making her keep him around. I was sure of it.
Me too.
I was sure of it. And we saw throughout the rest of this episode a very different picture of her feelings on him. And it was just incredibly bizarre to me. Regardless, she just seemed exhausted. Also, did you notice how Bennett was wearing like boating shoes, like Keds?
Of course.
With his suit.
So on brand for him.
So on brand.
So on brand. No, I mean, in Tayshia's then off conversation with Bennett, I was like you said, I was getting this vibe. I'm like, she's so over this guy. She looked so over him. I know. Her responses to him, I was alive. My body was on fire.
Yeah, and when like she was asking, like, have you ever questioned my integrity? And he's like, no, I would never mean to. And she's like, no. Have you ever questioned my integrity?
So direct. Just getting all the information. And oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, she also just said, don't ever say like I won't be with someone.
Yes. The fact that she laid that out and she's just like, you don't have the right to tell somebody else that. It's not okay. Mm-hmm. Everyone's here because I want them to be here. You don't have the right to say that. Mm-hmm. And he's just getting spanked with Tayshia's argument.
Yes.
And I think because he's taken aback by like how direct she's being about it. And he does not have this argument because, first of all, we hear him mention the drama that's been going on, like the 3 or 4 situations that involve Noah or something like that. Like like we said last week, I'm confused about all these dramatic situations with Noah. Like,
I don't get it either.
I'm like, have I fallen asleep through all these episodes and missed all this drama?
Same with so his conversation with drama, also same thing with viewers being like Noah's toxicity and problematicness on the show. I'm like, wait, I need some lists.
I need specific
confused.
details because I am not like
he's getting lumped into this pool in a very bizarre way.
He's getting put in this like list of like toxic villains of the show that I don't think he should not be in. I'm not a Noah fan, but by no stretch of the imagination, when I'm seeing all these people talk about him, then I'm like, am I missing something?
Yeah, exactly.
I get him that he, like, again, and even in this episode too, when he's smirking and listen, my word for Noah, stinker. I feel like I'm talking about my kid. He's a stinker.
He's a fox. Like
he's a
you
fox.
Said. Like the little.
He feels like a troublemaker.
A sprite.
But like a troublemaker that's like whatever. It's not something that
Like someone who likes to pull pranks.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly. But in general, I'm like, what is everybody talking about? And but Bennett keeps mentioning this.
Well, and then another part where she seemed so pissed and tired and over it. He tried to interrupt her. He was like, well, and she was like, and Bennett. And it was like, I'm so confused.
She did not seem happy with him.
Not at all.
I was just like, I was waiting.
Her face was so over him.
I was waiting for her to legit be like, you need to leave right now.
Exactly. I put in my notes, she hates him.
She hates him.
Apparently not, from what we saw. And then when he's telling her about the 4 characteristics from EQ, IQ, or whatever the fuck. Oh my God. And when he said during that little speech, I just want to love you up and blah, blah. Love you up? I want to love you up?
When he asks, like, let me tell, okay. As I was saying about the whole Noah piece, like, this was another moment that I was just chomping at the bit, because all of a sudden when he said, can I give you the reasons why? I do not think that there's definitely no chance that he's going to be with you. Yes. I'm like, finally.
Yep.
We're going to get logical, or even if they're, in my opinion, not, a list of reasons why and what Noah has done to prove this. And I was ready for it. And then, of course, he doesn't have emotional intelligence. These are the 4 ways. He lacks 3 of them. The most unspecific business I've ever heard.
Also, it's so funny that he is so precise about it. Like, he lacks 3 out of 4 of them. He does have 1 though. Like, he doesn't even say like.
Tayshia was just like, but I love that one.
Yeah, that one.
That one's my favorite one.
Oh
so he's fine.
And then he said, he's just so scary to me. He said, after this conversation, I think she'll have a whole new perspective on me and my ability to raise children and allow my children to have emotional intelligence, because like that's what life is all about. It was just all very odd.
I am fully convinced this is just another version of the Alea versus Sydney Victoria P situation. They don't like each other. And Sydney comes out in Peter's season and is just like, Alea is here for the wrong reasons. She's bad because of in this way, and this way. And then Victoria P gets on the train and is like, yeah. And there was no reason for them to call out Alea in that way.
And as you know, I was a huge Alea stan.
We were Alea stans.
Backing her.
We weren't like fans.
No, we don't like her.
We're not, she's not necessarily my cup of tea.
Wrongly persecuted.
Yes. And I think that that's exactly what's happening in this situation.
Very similar. You're right. Because Alea also, I felt for her that she kept being accused of like always being in the center of the drama, when truthfully it was just her always being attacked by the other people. And then like once or twice she went to Peter and was like, they're attacking me.
Yep.
But she only happened to be at the center of drama because other people didn't like her, just straight up didn't like her, which wasn't any fault of her doing.
They found her to get under their skin. And that's, I think, how they feel about Noah.
And not even they, I mean, like some of the guys, we saw Brendan make a comment. He's like, I like Noah, but sometimes he just needs to keep his mouth shut. But we really haven't seen any of the other guys really be that peeved about him.
No, and I've now heard numerous of the men outside of the show talk about Noah when asked about him. And I haven't heard any of the guys, especially the guys that we like tend to like, say anything negative about Noah, except that like, he can be young and sometimes, whatever.
Sure.
But I know that like Noah's like best friends from the show are Demar, Riley, and Ivan, who we've loved all of them. And so I'm like, okay, if these 3 guys who we all really, really like are best friends with Noah from the show, I would tend to be like, okay, he's probably not that bad of a guy. And yeah, it's the whole Alea, they would say that Alea would in the house do like a catwalk, be flipping her hair and being like, I can't wait, like be pageanting it up and be like working it for the camera.
It's like and what that makes her wrong.
And it's just like, well, that's just her personality. Yeah. She'd be doing that alone in her room looking in a mirror. Okay. And the difference is you're here and now a camera's here too, but she'd be doing that in her bedroom as well. And I think Noah's that type of way. I think he's going to be a little bit of like, he smirks, he starts will start some shit, and it's type of guy who makes like that side comment that's can be like annoying to the wrong person. Yes. But
like Bennett.
Like Bennett. you know?
Well, and this was so odd because her demeanor then completely changed with Noah, which is why I was so convinced that she hated Bennett. It was just, I'm just so confused by the whole thing. But yeah,
So
like her demeanor with
confused.
Noah, she was just like, hey, like, how's it? Where with Bennett, she was just like,
Yeah.
what, Bennett? Like
Like,
literally, like, what?
why are we here? And then her demeanor was that way with Noah after this whole, after she sent Bennett home.
Oh yeah, but I thought at first she was just like talking to him way sweeter.
Oh, she was way, before she sent Bennett home, she totally was way like,
Oh,
more
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
hey, yeah, Noah. I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, she said that he's the common denominator of the drama, similar to kind of what I was just saying about with the Alea stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Noah, I liked that this wasn't as tattly of a thing when he was just kind of telling her about how he talks to people in a way like they shouldn't be talked to, like they're less.
I mean, I feel like we've heard it.
Seems valid. Seems like he's not the only person who said
heard
that.
it. And then thank God he reveals the contents of the gift, which his eyes looked full of fear when he was explaining it. I was like, I feel so bad for Noah. He's going to be haunted by this in his dreams for forever. Also, he doesn't mention the socks.
No.
He said it was in the box. He doesn't mention the socks.
Probably
I
just
find
cut
very
it.
Odd. Huh.
Probably just cut the conversation there. But then, like, okay, what happened at the end of the conversation? Did he cry? Was that a fake cry?
Okay. Haters are going to come for me. I thought the cry seemed very real to me.
Okay, honestly, I just said that right now with that voice because I was like, people are gonna come for me too if I say that like he was really having a moment. I was trying to act like I wasn't such a Noah stan by being like, was that fake crying?
It seemed like a real cry to me.
I kind of thought so too, but I was also confused about why.
Okay, so he was saying, like, so he's explaining what's in the box, right? And he brings up then the book about the emotional intelligence, and he said, and then he's like, and Bennett said that I didn't have it. And he then says, he's like, listen, I can handle this, like I can deal with it. But, and this is the part I think is BS. Noah then was like, well, I'm just nervous that if you choose him, that he's going to act that way with you, and I'm passionate about that. I think that's like a load.
Classic, like whatever.
I think that's a load. I don't think I don't think Noah is like tortured by the idea of Tayshia dealing with Bennett and him, you know, being disrespectful in this way.
In their marriage.
Right.
Yeah, like, give me a break.
Give me a break. But when he did start crying, and it was kind of after he talked about that he can handle stuff, but he didn't think that it was appropriate. And I think he said something about like not knowing people's backgrounds. And part of me wonders, and he did a little video, posted it on his Instagram to do like a recap. And he talked about how there's a lot of things that he's shared that haven't been put on the show. And he talked about the artwork that he did. And he's like, I talked about a lot of stuff. Also, later on in the episode, when they do the lie detector test, we only see like silly, ridiculous questions that they ask Noah. But Tayshia says, after hearing your answers to those questions, I really feel more comfortable. And I'm really happy to like to get to know you better. So obviously the production cut whatever serious piece of Noah's out. So part of me wonders if like maybe
come from a background of abuse or something like that.
Or even just Bennett going over and over again about like how you lack all emotional intelligence. Maybe it's kind of a trigger for him. Like maybe there's something it's hurting his feelings. Or there's something there that we don't know about, because he alluded to this in his little like recap videos or other like little things that he's posted where he's like, well, there's a lot that you're not seeing.
I believe we're getting super shorted on him, and I know I'm a fan,
so
but
too.
I believe that we're not seeing a lot of the full. And I think we will get more of this arc on Paradise. I do believe we're going to get to know him better, and I believe that people are really going to like him on Paradise.
I think we're going to find out more about the fact that, like, for instance, that he's a traveling nurse.
Oh yeah, you guys know what that means? That we were figuring out why he did a little recap on his Instagram, and while he was driving. It's because he's been driving to different ICUs across the country, both before and after filming. That's what his travel nurse shit
to help with COVID. So I just feel like there's a lot that we're not seeing. And as much as I think the whole comment about him being passionate because he's concerned for Tayshia is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I think it's bullshit. But I think that the tears probably came from a place of maybe agitation, having to just consistently deal with this guy and being told over and over again that you suck at something and that you lack something. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and it's just like I can understand Well, now we don't even know if he made the privilege comment like that to Bennett. It's also like, what did you say Bennett does? He like is a financial handler person.
Yeah, he's like involved in wealth management or something.
Yeah, wealth management. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Noah is literally like definition of a frontline healthcare worker.
Yeah.
Literally a nurse in ICUs across the country.
Yes.
It's just interesting.
It's very interesting to me, is all I'm going to say.
Before we go on, should we take a quick break?
Before we go on, we have to take a quick break because now I'm frustrated. Now I have to talk about something that I love. Listen, I have been struggling lately with figuring out what exactly to send friends and extend family members for the holidays. Like, what brings joy with the underlying message of, hey, you survived this hot mess that was 2020 and here's a gift to celebrate. Also, can we skip the Zoom hang later? I'm all zoomed out. Like, how does
what
a
gift fits for that?
What gift fits for all that? You might think nothing, but something dawned on me, and that is a box of Mrs. Fields cookies. Also, little known fact about me is that my nickname in high school was Mrs. Fields because every single day I would bring in a little bag of Mrs. Fields cookies to eat in my first period.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about privilege. Bougie bitch. Okay, anyway, Mrs. Fields.
This has all come full circle for me. Do you realize what a powerful moment this is? Mrs. Fields.
Okay, this is a good gift, by the way, because it's something that people are definitely going to use, aka eat.
Yes.
So it's like, it's kind of a no-brainer gift choice.
It's a great gift.
Someone's going to end up using it.
Absolutely.
And by using it, I mean eating it. Anyway, Mrs. Fields, the name takes me back to like elementary days, Christmas shopping with my mom at the mall. And at the end of the mall trip, I get a treat like Mrs. Fields. I love that they're still around and they're baking more. And they're baking more or less the same recipes today. They have so many holiday options for every price range, and they come packaged in adorable holiday boxes. I got one of their gift sets. It's amazing.
So
it's
cute.
the easiest way to show someone you're thinking about them this holiday season.
Yes, I mean, and let's be honest, the way to most people's hearts, including my own, is through a box of cookies. I know this gift will be a hit for anyone that gets it. It's full of holiday cheer, and the cookies, the brownies and confections are melt in your mouth. So good. Plus, people will be busy, will be so busy eating that they might just be too busy for that scheduled FaceTime happy hour. We love a cancellation. A win for everybody.
Oh, I love it. Our listeners also are going to get 20% off site-wide with promo code chatty at mrsfields.com. Just click on the mic at the top and enter promo code chatty for 20% off your order. That's mrsfields.com, promo code chatty. Or buy them for yourself, broads.
Delish. Well, no matter how busy I get, I've never really been one of those people that forgets to eat lunch or, works through dinner, like I was saying before. I am, however, one of those people who will get so busy that I eat a bag of Cheetos and Diet Coke for lunch because that's what the gas station has to offer me, which it's fine. Once in a while, it's fine. A few days in a row of gas station lunches, I'm a little bit over it. My body needs a little bit of a reset, which is why I am now fully stocked in my fridge with Daily Harvest.
Well, Daily Harvest is the best for quick meals. They deliver delicious food built on organic fruits and vegetables right to your door, and everything is ready to eat in just minutes. And they have got options. Daily Harvest gives you the ability to eat nutritious, flavorful food any time of day. You get smoothies for breakfast, crisp flatbreads for lunch, and harvest bowls and hearty soups for dinner. And they even have plant-based desserts for you when you want a sweet treat. I love them.
Everything stays fresh in your freezer until you're ready to eat. So you'll always be just minutes away from a healthy meal. I love that it stays fresh in your freezer.
Yes.
Now that we're in December, I'm all about the comfort foods. Okay. I'm loving the soup selection from Daily Harvest. My current favorite, oh my God, the carrot and coconut curry.
I haven't tried that. I'll have to add that to my box.
Queen. I put a little bit of avocado on the top, serve it with a little side of rice if I'm feeling a little more hungry, and it tastes like it's high restaurant quality. That coconut curry just, it hits me.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
Also, parents, I have a very picky eater at home. Ember's picky. She loves Daily Harvest, loves the smoothies, loves the harvest bowls.
The little bites too. Really good.
Oh, the bites, yes, yeah.
Daily Harvest makes it easy to eat clean, undeniably delicious food no matter what your day brings, and you can keep it simple with Daily Harvest. Go to dailyharvest.com, enter promo code chatty to get $25 off your first box. It's promo code chatty. You'll get $25 off your first box at dailyharvest.com. dailyharvest.com. Also another great gift option. Okay.
All right. Well, okay. So Tayshia ends her conversation with Noah. And then Noah and Bennett do have a moment together.
I thought she was going to send them both home at this point.
So did I. I thought they were both done. Not so. The conversation with Noah and Bennett was like super interesting because Noah kind of reveals to him he feels like he has more self-awareness than Bennett does, basically, and that like if you're talking about having like a high EQ, like I think you'd be more self-aware of how you speak to people. And that's when he says to him, like, the way that you speak to people can make people feel badly about themselves, blah, blah, blah. That's when Bennett says, he's like, I'm very aware that I'm different than everyone in the house, that I carry myself differently and that I speak differently. And
that on its own is fine to say, but it was the way that it's said. Where it wasn't like, I'm well aware I'm different from everyone here. It was like, I'm well aware I'm different. I carry myself differently. Like, I am.
Exactly. And
it's very self-important.
And when someone's revealing like, hey, the way that you speak to some of the guys in the house makes people feel a little small.
Which actually is a great emotionally intelligent way to talk to someone about something, is being like, people don't, like, this hurts people.
Yeah. And then Bennett was like, then the response of being like, I speak differently and I own that. It's like, well, I think the way that you, like, here's the thing. Bennett, as Bennett is, great. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Like,
do your thing.
Do your thing. You know, the way that all of his, like, the big verbiage and the way that the pronunciation and, like, you know, the princely ways, like, that's fine. But then, you know, it's not good to make people feel small. And I know that it's probably hurtful to hear that you make people feel small, but then your response shouldn't be like, well, that's just how I speak. And I know it's different from everyone else and I own it. It's like, no, but you are hurting people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree. Anyway, so then Tayshia's saying that, like, when she's sitting down in front of the two of them with the rose thing.
Yes.
And she's saying, like, Bennett, you make me feel amazing in a way like I've honestly never felt before.
Color me confused at this point, for real, because now all I'm getting are flashbacks of all of the times that Bennett kissed her and it looked like she was not into it. And I'm feeling very, very, like, thrown off. I don't understand.
I thought she despised him.
So did I, but apparently not.
I guess we were projecting.
Yeah.
And I guess we need a little more emotional intelligence.
For real, though. I mean, obviously the producers are screwing with us by not showing us certain things, but, like, part of me is starting to wonder, does she obviously like Bennett more, and so her choosing Noah was a surprise, I wonder? Because all the guys...
She said, too, I wasn't expecting to send you... I wasn't expecting to say goodbye.
Yeah.
But I think that might just be referencing the 2-on-1. Like, maybe producers told her to do the 2-on-1, not to,
But all the guys were like, oh, yeah, Bennett's coming back. He's going to get this one. So I'm like, maybe, like, everyone can tell that maybe in real life she seems more into Bennett than she is into Noah.
I wonder how she's going to feel watching this shit back.
Oh, I don't know.
So it was pretty intense.
Yes.
And then she psyched Bennett and America out after she said her little thing about Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like,
maybe not being ready for marriage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Bennett, unfortunately, I can't give you the rose. And
Bennett then proceeds to have a dead stare at her for a solid 10 seconds like this.
Oh my God.
No blinking. Noah, oh no, that's what he goes. He just says, wow. He's just dead silent for 10 seconds. And then he finally is just like, wow. He's shocked. Absolutely shocked. Noah cannot contain his glee. He's about to, like, jump up and do like 25 jumping jacks and be like, who's not intelligent now, bud? And he's just like, I won this war.
And that's where I was like, not so quick, buddy guy. You're about to get sent home too. That's what I was about to say, which he probably will at the rose ceremony.
I think he's going to get sent home too.
It's the top 4. He doesn't fit in the top 4.
No, I don't think so.
But, okay, so the goodbye. I still thought throughout this goodbye that she didn't like him.
I thought she was feeling what I was feeling, which was scared, horrified,
nervous.
Again, and I thought
apprehensive.
I thought that also that was coupled with the producers having, like, the dead silence piece. Not emotionally like, oh, this is hard for Tayshia. It was just dead silent, making it creepier.
He said, And then again, he goes, is this really goodbye? And she just goes, unfortunately.
And then he says, holy cow.
The dialogue. Mwah. And then
then he stops her. And then he stops her full in her tracks. And he says, I'm shocked. Never for 1 second was I questioning your ability to make a decision or your integrity. I simply saw behaviors I could not imagine you putting up with. A husband or a father. I feel confident in my words. If you feel this, don't feel this way. I'm so sorry.
And bitch, I wrote here, I said, I think she's scared of him because she's just not replying to anything.
It was a dead silence walk.
And when she said after, I think something doesn't feel right, I was like, yup, you're getting the same vibe all of us are at home.
I said the same thing, like, oh, T.
Yeah.
As Kenny would say, oh, T, I am so sorry. I am so sorry
Something
that now
did not
all
feel
of a sudden
right for us
you're
either.
like, whoa, that was jarring.
No, she's like, I basically didn't want to send it. What?
I was writing before. I'm like, Tayshia is having to literally explain herself to try to get his ass in the car. But yet, no, she was delaying because she felt like something was wrong that she was sending him home.
Meanwhile, Noah's eating half a box of Tic Tacs.
Noah is gagging on the amount of Tic Tacs that he's preparing his mouth with, thinking that he's about to have a make-out sesh with
And
Tayshia.
he just can't help but just have a shit-eating grin on his face.
Just beaming. An even bigger smile than when Jojo walks in the room whenever he sees her. Somehow. The love of his life, guaranteed.
To do him like that. So, but then she comes in and she's pissed at him.
Just like, stop. The second he gets up with that big smile on his face.
Which, like you said,
She says-
she didn't even have that energy for him in their conversation.
No, she goes, no, do not be smiling.
Maybe she just had an interview before she went back in to see Noah.
And she got worked up.
Yeah.
And one of the producers was like, Noah's just back in the room, just huge smile.
Yeah. And so maybe like in the interview too, it was like, wow, Bennett really cared about you. Like, that kind of thing.
That makes more sense. Oof.
Brendan also says in passing, like, just keep your mouth shut for once. Just stay quiet kind of thing about Noah. But he also said, I like Noah, but.
Well, she's saying that too, she decides she's not going to give him the rose.
Yeah.
That she's going to have to just wait until the cocktail party. I thought again, I was like, oh, she's going to cut him right now. They're both going home. But then she brings up the fact about the whole marriage piece, and he has tears in his eyes in the interview, and he's like sad that she doesn't think that he might be ready for
little
marriage.
Christian boy. He's
Little
like, I've been
Christian
prepping
boy.
for this for the past 20 years.
And he's just like, I haven't had sex ever yet because I've been really waiting for this. I do take this really seriously.
Am I ready?
Please pick me.
Oh man.
Well, the men show up to the cocktail party, and again, I always am trying to like gauge the guy's reaction to how they feel. And for the most part, again, we had what Brendan said, but he also said he liked him. We see that Blake is smiling, Ivan's smiling. I trust Ivan. We find out later that they're really good friends.
Yeah.
I heard on an interview that Joe likes Noah, Dr. Joe, who we trust.
Oh.
Ben is smiling. Like, it felt like a happy, it wasn't like, oh no, Bennett. It wasn't like, again, when there was a 2-on-1 with, I don't know,
Well,
Luke
and when
P
Noah walks
and Luke
in-
P still there, and then all the guys come in and they're like, are you fucking kidding
No,
me?
and
This
Noah
guy's
walks
still
back
here.
in, and one of the guys, which one? I didn't know. I wish I had. One of the guys go, oh, I knew it.
I think it was Blake.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. It's Blake. Totally makes sense.
I
It's
can't
Blake.
wait for his one-on-one
Oh my
next week, by the way.
God.
Very looking
Oh
forward
my
to
God.
that.
Yeah, so, Blake was like, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, no, yeah, you're
We're
right.
back.
No one really seemed like pissed about anything. Like,
Ed
or
was
upset.
gleefully like going through the box, so he didn't look too disturbed that his villainous king was gone.
No.
But Noah then was saying to the guys like, not so fast, and then he said too, he's like, I'm not glad that you guys have to keep getting tied up in all of this, and I hope everyone has a great cocktail party.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was kind of apologizing, like, I know this is annoying.
Yeah.
That now this is in the air for the cocktail
Love
party.
to see you defending him. Love it.
I know it does hurt my body. And I will say this, later on in the episode, I was like, okay, like, I had ups and down feelings about him. But, my defense is very much when people are standing up for Bennett and going after Noah, I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah, no. Also, like, you know, he just has, and I can relate, he just has immaturities and like just little things that are just about being young.
Yeah.
And that's normal.
Yeah.
So.
But he cannot stop smirking. And I want to be like, Noah, I wanted to reach in, like I wanted to reach through the screen and be like, stop.
I think that's how Tayshia feels too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think she's over that smirk. That's for sure.
Well, anyway, for the cocktail party, her and Riley are vibing. Zach and Tayshia are vibing.
Yes, we find out that that hometowns are around the corner.
Yes, which I'm shocked about. I'm shook about it.
Absolutely.
Her and Ben are just macking.
Per usual.
Ivan's telling her why he's her husband.
Yes, Zach is giving her a gift, aka a photo from their wedding shoot, which I'm sure one day if they don't end up being together at the end of this, that she will show to her grandchildren and they will feel very confused. They're like, was that grandfather? Or maybe, and she's like, no, I did this one shoot one time where I did a wedding.
No Bachelor Clues is going to own it.
That's very true.
So I'm still in love with Brendan.
Oh, I just fall more and more in love with him. I really do.
Like him. I like him too. I love his energy. Noah though got no time at the end of the cocktail
Noah got
party.
no time. And he in the conversation, you know, with Blake's just kind of like, I'm glad I'm not you right now, bud, whatever. But, you know, Noah's saying that he is convinced that Tayshia is convinced that he's the one causing all the drama. And he's like, maybe I am. Like, I don't think so.
Wait, also, I was just thinking, were there any other noteworthy words in his art? That is interesting they put privilege in his art.
I can't really quite read them. I have to really zoom up. Okay, that was the one clear one that we could see.
Never mind, don't care enough. So for the rose ceremony though.
Yes. Okay. Well, Jojo shows up. Rose ceremony. First person to get a rose is Brendan. I wanted to make a little note. We see Ed's reaction to Brendan getting the first rose. He looks pissed. Ed literally goes like this. He goes, oh, like mad. And I'm like, oh my God, is there secret beef that we don't know about? Show us all of the beef with Ed. I want to see all of Ed's drama. But yeah, it's Brendan.
Riley gets the second one.
Second rose for Riley. I mean, he did do that cute anniversary moment with her, which by the way, Riley, the fact he said this, he's like, I know she's been dealing with all like this bullshit. And so I just want her to relax and have a good time. I love that he didn't pull her aside and get like, are you doing okay? He just distracted her. I was all about it.
I really like him.
Me too.
Of course, we find more about him on this episode.
But Blake then gets the third rose, which was surprising to me too. Ivan gets the fourth, and then Noah gets the last rose. And we have Damar sent home, which I'm so upset we didn't get to see anything of Damar. Like, that was wild.
He's so cute. We love him, and he seems like a nice guy too.
He's so cute. He has that calm kind of Brendan energy too,
and the style. So.
Spencer gets sent home.
Yeah, we didn't see much of Spencer.
And then Ed. And honestly, I'm shocked that he stayed this long, so God bless.
I know. Congrats, Ed.
Got more airtime than I ever thought he would.
I was heartbroken really about Damar, though, and he was really upset, too, and that was sad.
I know, and just so gracious, too. He's such a gracious man.
Hopefully we see more of him on Paradise.
I really hope so.
It's only room for so many people.
And there
Paradise.
are a lot of really good guys on this season.
Yes, there really are.
So it's tough, like Paradise wise.
Well, next we have the second Bachelorette, aka Jojo, who enters the morning after, and the gleeful looks on these men's faces is not okay.
Becca?
And it's not just Noah lights up, but every other man in the room who makes eye contact with her does as well.
Yes, but Noah explodes when he sees Jojo. He gets
a big old fucking smile.
He's got that stinker smile.
Dude, they are all looking at her though, like they are like hungry animals. Like
it is crazy the way that they look at her.
Literally, they're just all like,
I want to be like
kind of panting.
Everyone calm down.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone calm down.
Zach's literally like not trying to avoid eye contact. Looking at the ceiling.
Zach's just like self-talk to himself.
Doing
okay, bud. Don't.
Zach's thing is just like this.
Yeah. Zach knows. He's like, I see those
around.
I see those cameras zooming in. They will not catch me looking at Jojo. I am here for Tayshia. They will not
look at her
catch
tits.
me
Don't
looking
in her head, in his head, it's just like, don't look at her tits. Don't look at her tits. Don't look at her butt when she walks away. Don't look at
the legs. Don't look at the legs.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of age on him too. Meanwhile, Noah's 25 and he's like, her legs, her butt, her boobs.
Noah is like a cartoon character, like the auga when he walks in. It's just like flailing panic. Like, oh my God. Come on, men.
And Brendan, you see, as you commented, also lights up a little bit.
Brendan definitely lights up. And I'm not going to lie to you, Becca. It makes me a little nervous.
Oh, come on. They're only men. They're only human.
No, I don't mean like I'm nervous that he lights up when he sees a beautiful woman. I'm saying the fact that they show it makes me a little nervous.
I've been saying he's too good to be true.
And that's why I'm saying it makes me a little nervous. I'm like, are you guys trying to like...
I think they're literally just showing the men's reaction. We saw every single guy, and every single guy was like a little gaga over
I'm just
her.
so on edge
Except for
about
Zach, who straight up wouldn't look at her.
I'm so on edge about Brendan because we've only seen just mwah, 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 mwah.
I know.
Just Brendan is chef's kiss.
Well, Jojo talks about how they're going to meet the family soon, and then Zach's crying.
Okay.
And I have to say this. Zach's growing on me. And I've unpacked some of my emotions with Zach.
We talked through that.
We talked through it. Zach actually reminds me of someone that I knew in my past. And Zach, I have said this all along, that I don't think Zach is a bad guy at all.
Yeah. He's growing on you now.
I do like him. I really don't believe that he's ready. I don't believe that he's ready for marriage. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in like a snarky, like he's wrong. I just think he has, and we saw it in here, this vulnerable moment, this vulnerable moment of, you can see that there's so much pain behind his experience that he's had in his life and with his family. And it seems like there's still a lot of guilt and shame. And I just feel like he still has, far be it from me to say, but since we're saying what we think about everyone, I just think he has a little bit more stuff to work through.
Yeah. I'll tell you this much. When, if I told you that during this moment, when he shares about his parents, that there were not tears hitting the table, I'd be lying to you. Granted, it set off a weird switch. I had this like weird like moment where all of a sudden I went in parent mode and I thought about my like sweet daughter having like this struggle. I mean, with Zach, with everything too, like with the brain tumor, and then getting addicted to the medication, and then just this whole story and this arc with his family. Then I was thinking about watching like how hard it is for him, his parents, to see their baby boy and everything, and then him crying, talking about how like his mom and his dad are his heroes, and that he's like, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Oh, I was crying like big tears. And then I'm thinking, this is so heavy. And then I'm starting to get nervous. My nerves start to skyrocket because I'm like, is this good for Zach right now? And that made me feel nervous. Yeah. I was like, is this good for Zach to, like, his parents and their relationship is so sacred, like, to be on national television, for them to edit, who knows how the producers are going to make this look, if they're going to try to make him like, seem like this guy who's unstable because of addiction, and then his parents are going to have to, it started to make me nervous. And especially because they're showing how nervous Zach is, it's making me more sketched out that there's going to be something that happens during the hometowns that I'm not like something like, oh my God, wild, but maybe more revealed that Tayshia didn't know about. I don't know. I really hope for his sake that this is like a healthy experience for him, and that it's even if it ends up painful, because let's just say Tayshia doesn't choose him, that it's a good growth experience for him and his family, and not one that ends up being something that like sets him back in painful wise with his family or something. Yeah,
I feel like he just has a little bit more like soul searching to do to maybe find out like who he is and what he wants outside of like in the wake of his addiction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because I remember talking to someone close to me who struggled with similar addiction issues. And I remember them talking about like, I lost years of my life. Like I lost years of my life to addiction that were so crucial, like that are usually really crucial for people, you know, like some of the prime of my life, those years are just gone.
Yeah.
And I need to take some time. I remember this person telling me like, I need to take some time to get some of that time back.
Yeah.
That's just about like me finding myself and, you know, doing the things that like 20 somethings or like early 30s do. You know, you're traveling, you're having, you know, you're yeah, I don't know. And so I wonder if maybe Zach needs to do a little bit more of that and a little bit more just like being him, you know, and outside of that healing journey of, you know, going through all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they could do that. There's no reason why they couldn't do that together, but
sure. I just hope that then the parent piece on the show that that ABC doesn't, you know, use anything like for clickbait.
Yeah, I also imagine it's just, aside from that, it's going to be difficult for the parents. I imagine as a parent being like, we're going to go on the show and like talk about all
like this
shit.
Really personal. Yeah.
I mean, it's always kind of like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's there's someone or something like that every year.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So
he's very nervous. So we'll see. I think he's going to definitely be in the hometowns. Like I would be shocked if he didn't get in hometowns.
I agree. Completely agree.
Yeah.
After Zach, now we have Bennett's 1-on-1. We got some feedback just about how we talked about, you know, we made some comments in relation to how he talked about his eating disorder and kind of that journey. And then you had a comment from one broad that you wanted to share. I wanted about that.
To share with that because obviously, like, you know, this isn't something that we're experts in by any means. And I think then that a lot of the broads thought that there were ways that we could have discussed this differently. And I got permission from this broad to share this. And so thank you so much, Lauren Buchanan. She sent me a message that I thought was so, I'll just read it. Okay. So she was saying that, when you are fat or previously fat, it can be incredibly hard to find the right wording to use when discussing your body, and shaming Ben for saying this might be hard to believe or anything else he said in regards to his story and telling it isn't right. I can't tell you how long as a close to 300-pound broad it is to find the right words to tell your story. It's even more complicated when you've been fat and dropped a lot of weight. You are given messages of how great you look, and it reinforces the idea that being fit is better. It can be incredibly harmful, as again, I've been there. Just because Ben is fit now doesn't mean anyone should diminish his story or how hard it is for him to tell. He's probably used to people responding, "No way, man, I can't believe it." So he was built up telling people right off the bat, "You might not believe this," because he built that up as a safeguard to people not believing this now very fit man he is presenting. Yeah.
And I also imagine if in him revealing himself too, when you deal with serious body dysmorphia, it's not like that goes away if your body changes.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that was a point of vulnerability for him, regardless of like what he looks like now,
right,
to be able to break down that wall.
Right. And so Lauren, thank you so much, Lauren, and other broads who sent us all this message, but Lauren in particularly, thank you so much for letting us share this. You and I then talked about as well in the future what we would really love to have, after maybe this Bachelor season is done,
conversations
to have a conversation about this. We would love to have someone on to talk about disordered eating. We would love to have more fat people on the podcast to talk about this. So anyways, I thought that this was something important that we just needed to touch on, and yeah, I'm really grateful Lauren allowed me to share that on the podcast. I really appreciate it, and it's really, really helpful. So
definitely.
Yeah, just wanted to touch on that. So should we talk about his date?
Yes. So
Jojo zips up on a little electric scooter.
Loves the scooter. Yeah, there's Jojo again.
If I would be, well, okay. Well, it's
yeah, if you're the Bachelorette and you're like.
But I'd also just be like, can Chris
really?
Harrison It's like, listen, I see you, Noah. Okay, stop.
Why don't you have a guy on? Why do they have Ben? I know we talked about this before. Someone check on Ben.
I cannot believe that. Yeah, please check on Ben. How is Ben Higgins not taking Chris Harrison's place? You know why? Because Chris Harrison
feels threatened.
Won't allow it.
He feels threatened.
He will not allow Ben. Yeah. Never. Absolutely
not.
Well, this okay. So I have some words about this, okay? Jojo says that they've created this, adventure date where they have to find clues to get to an oasis. Let us remind you once again that we are in 120 degree heat, zipping around outside, having to beat down piñatas, 20 of them, something like that, you're outside doing athletic type things. And then they say the oasis will be worth it. And so I'm imagining, okay, Bachelor production is going to set up a legit oasis, or
an island in the center of a pool or some shit.
Or they're legit actually going to finally go a little bit off La Quinta campus, like how Jason and Claire did, and they will have set up an actual like fake oasis. The final place that they get to is the spa, and it's a bench. There's not even a goddamn succulent next to the bench.
So wrong.
It was so wrong. How dare they?
Also, like, they could have made the scavenger hunt cooler. They were just like going there. Oh, there's a fucking blow up pool full of tennis balls on the tennis court. What?
Like, come on, guys.
They should have, if anything, done like each pool around the resort has something like in a treasure box at the bottom of each pool that you have to dive in, like
give them like
style to like retrieve it.
Give them cute like little snorkeling gear that they're having to like go under and do fun stuff like that.
And also heat friendly. A scavenger hunt
in the rafters of La Quinta, in the attic. Wild. Creepy. The creepy Another scavenger hunt.
That would be super fun.
So then we have at the end of this, they have
a little wine on a bench.
With 2 candles in the daytime, and the candles are lit. They're probably for mosquitoes, let's be honest. She's trying to like crack him. She can still say there's just something that and Tayshia is a perceptive person, and she knows. It's like, I know that you revealed something, but there's just still something going on. And he talks about how he does want to be perfect, and he's afraid of burdening people. Which, fact of the matter is, I'm right away going, all right, this is going to be a conversation later that I'm going to relate to, because I'm like, okay, I struggle with this too, big time. And then you put up this weird front where you act like Ben, he reminds me a little bit of myself in this way, where you have this, people think they know you and you're like, oh, Ben, he's so friendly and warm and like whatever, but then they actually don't, and you keep it pretty like close to your vest because there's that whole nervousness of not being perfect. But then we have the dinner date with Ben.
Yeah, and Tayshia said he's almost too perfect.
He also says that he's wowed. He said, everyone's wowed by your dresses, but your shoes are always on point. And I'm like, check, my friend. Thank you for noticing. Okay, our feet hurt. We appreciate you noticing.
And basically she's prodding him and kind of just being like, I feel like there's hurt there. And that there's something else going on. And yeah, she basically says, like, you are someone who seems like you need to put up a perfect facade all the time. And he's basically like, I've been waiting for this conversation.
Yes.
Talk about issues with trying to be perfect.
Yes, for real. And then that's a long conversation that they have, that we get more of his background about how he was raised, having to be, or being in the Army at 18. So he kind of defaults to the conditioning, he said, of not being vulnerable. And it talks about his sister, how she's saved his life and really didn't know, which by the way, I saw on his Instagram post a couple days ago that it was his sister's birthday. And so I can imagine they had this conversation that he was like, okay, I talked about this on the show and I talked about you, and she's going to see that,
Now it is interesting. I noticed, maybe I'm not paying attention to the other conversations. Maybe he has talked about them. I did notice an omission of a discussion of his parents.
Interesting.
Especially in the context of what's supposed to happen next week. And so I wonder if we're going to find out more about his relationship with his parents. Because I did notice, she asked about like, what's up with your family? And kind of his answer was like, I love my sister. And here's all the ways my sister has helped me. And that's kind of all we heard about his family.
That is very interesting. Because he said too, The only thing that he said about his, I would say, quote unquote, like family outside of his sister, is he said that he was raised in a house where being perfect was expected. You have to look the part, act the part. Interesting.
So I wonder if his parents will even be there next week.
Maybe it'll just
I'm
be his
assuming
sister.
he's going.
I'm assuming. I would be shocked again. By the way.
Well, he got a rose, so he is going next week.
Oh, for sure. He is going next week. Okay, so my guess is what I said. We said like 2 weeks ago who we thought the top 4 were going to be anyways.
You think Blake's going to get sent home on a 101?
I think Blake's going to get sent home on a 101. I think it'll be the top 4 will be Ivan, Zach, Brendan, and Ben.
Mm-hmm. And once again, I will reinforce, I believe the order is first place, Bennett, second place, Zach.
Bennett. He's haunting you now.
I need help. First place, Brendan.
Yes. Okay. I was like, no, please don't say that. You think she's going to bring him back? Please don't.
First place, Brendan. Second place, Zach. Third place, Ivan. No. Third place, Ben. I can't get anyone's fucking name straight. Still, it's like week 7.
Okay.
And fourth place, Ivan.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm. That's what I think too. We'll see. You know what's freaking me out?
I still think Brendan's gonna be first no matter what.
Okay, it's freaking me out because it feels like it's going. It feels like it's going too well.
Brendan.
No, with everything a little bit. Obviously, there's been drama with Bennett and Noah, but like actually, everything's been going a little too well.
Okay, so this is something I have noticed.
Okay.
They seem to oftentimes set up the lead. Usually it seems prime for the next season for Bachelor, Bachelorette, but people always kind of, they set the leads up for you to dislike their choice a little bit. I'll go back through recent history.
Okay, please.
Okay, Peter doesn't even fucking count. Like,
I mean,
what was his season?
By the way, him and Kelly going strong.
I can't.
I know.
Okay. For Peter, Hannah Ann.
Okay.
Hannah Ann. Oh my God. Hannah Brown. Obviously, we didn't like her pick very much. Tyler was second.
Always forget about Jed.
Yeah. Jed was her pick. Let's not forget. Let's not fucking forget.
Wow. What is he doing? Okay.
For that, Colton. Cassie, that whole thing was... People didn't really like Cassie.
No, they didn't. Remember, you and I got a lot of flack for liking Cassie.
I know. Huh. And I still like her.
Me too.
No one really liked Cassie. Before Colton, Becca. People preferred Blake over Garrett for the most part.
Oh my God.
For that, Ari. That speaks for itself with Ari's situation. For Ari, we have Rachel. Mm-hmm. Who did people like?
Peter.
Before Rachel season, who do we have? Nick. Yeah. Who do people like? Raven. And you see this pattern recurring.
I'm pretty shook right now.
They almost always set up the lead for you not to be extremely stoked as a nation on their final pick.
Because do you think they want then the second to become the Bachelor or Bachelorette, and they want you to watch more?
It's a little bit of drama. It's shit to talk about. Yeah. It's just more devastating. People love the devastating heartbreak aspect of it.
They do love
and
that.
The Bachelor, I believe, wants people to just really feel for the person that gets dumped at the altar at the end. Mm-hmm. Because people like the drama and the pain more than they like the love stories in the show. And I believe that.
Those are facts, and people will disagree with you. And it's like, look at the ratings.
Look at our show.
So no, it's the ratings are higher when there is drama and devastation
and pain. Mm-hmm. Heartbreak. Mm-hmm. So I believe they're setting us up to be devastated by either Zach or Ben or both coming in second place to Brendan. And I believe the Brendan love story with her will be quiet, will be understated. We're not going to see much of it. And we're going to wonder why she picked Brendan. Well, we won't wonder. But people may wonder why she picked Brendan over Zach or Ben. Because we're seeing much more of their stories. And I'm telling you, it's because neither of them are going to make it to the end. And I may be wrong.
This all makes sense. This all sounds correct to me. Also, going off of this, now that I'm thinking about it, I know that we already have our next Bachelor, but Ben feels like Bachelor, like hard Bachelor material.
Totally. And he just may become like Paradise Dream Boy kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well,
so that's why I think that you're getting that vibe with Brendan. I don't think because anything's going to hit the fan with Brendan.
because he's a little more the Lauren.
Yep. Sure. That's a perfect way to name the kind of trope.
It's like the low key, non-drama. People are like, are they a little boring?
Cassie too.
Cassie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're quite spot on with this.
So anyway.
Well, going back to Ben, we then end up having the discussion that he really opens up with her, and he talks to her about how really recently, 2018 and 2019, he was in a city. He said that his life was dark. You know what? And I will say this. I first of all, I don't know if we've had a conversation about suicide on on the show. Again, I could be wrong. I feel like...
No, I was thinking the same thing. Not about oneself, I don't believe.
I don't think so. And the fact, too, that he... his story was very much like... One, just talking about, like, the city was too expensive.
I wrote down the same thing. I was like, this felt really, to quote Tayshia, vulnerable.
Yeah.
It felt... It's funny because I noted that same comment when he said, like, I was basically living beyond my means in, like, a city that I couldn't afford.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's like a little bit of side of vulnerability we don't usually hear from people.
Yeah, I thought it was really the fact that we actually had this conversation, and especially the fact that he talked about, like I said, super recent, 2018 and 2019. He said that he had 2 failed suicide attempts.
Yeah.
And that he didn't want to burden people with his problems. And yeah. And then ABC later on ended up putting the suicide prevention hotline number up, which I thought was like, I'm really, really glad that they did that. But yeah, it's just, and then he talks about too, that he's been super intentional and aggressive about his therapy, which I loved. He talked about that in therapy too, and that he's been healing and taking care of himself. We know not obviously physically, but also emotionally.
Yes.
And I'm just, again, it's just another, the past 3 episodes in a row.
There's always been conversations that are pretty much unprecedented and are really important to be having on the show.
So, and especially like right now in 2020, when he talks about being in a city that's too expensive, being alone, when so many people probably feel this way right now. I thought that this was a moment that I was just really grateful that and appreciative of his vulnerability, and also that ABC would air this.
Yeah. And it's really brave to talk about something like that, knowing that a lot of people in your life don't know. He said his sister didn't know, much less coworkers, close friends, all that kind of stuff. It's very brave to be talking about that. So that date went well.
That date went really well.
And they ended up having to do a solo show, of course.
Of course. Also, of course, Tayshia. I see you. I hear you. Her responses.
Always.
Just, Tayshia, get into counseling once this is done. For real. You should go. You should become... You could be a great therapist. You could be a great counselor.
She's like, no, I'm in the beauty and lifestyle space.
It's like, no. Which honestly probably also involves counseling, because you're you're dealing with people. Dealing with people constantly.
Yeah.
So yes, they get a show, and Adam Hambrick, who is, I looked on Instagram, doesn't have a lot of followers, is not a huge name. Talk about a song that I was like, this is a good song. This is a romantic song. I don't know if it was just the energy of this episode, but I was like, something about this is like, talk about a mom moment, Becca. I'm listening to the lyrics of this song, watching Tayshia holding Ben, looking at Adam performing, tears in her eyes after Ben shares this incredibly vulnerable thing with her. She's crying, and all I'm thinking about is, this is happening in the middle of 2020. All of these people were locked down going through the pandemic like all the rest of us are. And there's this weird blip in the matrix all of a sudden when they're out under the stars listening to this beautiful music, intimacy. And I was just like, I can't handle all of this.
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
I was out of my mind. I couldn't handle it. It was too much. So thank God there ended up being this lie detector test thing afterwards, because I'm like, I can't handle all of this emotion. I'm just a pile.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about that. So
before we talk about that,
yes.
Should we take a quick little pause-y? Yeah, talking about me being a pile. This is a product that your girl has been using a lot lately. Because every once in a while, my brain does this super fun thing where about an hour before bedtime, it goes into overdrive. Thinking about things that I have zero control over, all of my emotions that are swirling around. This goes on for hours, staring at the ceiling, worrying about the state of anything and everything, about Ben and Tayshia's relationship, watching the hours slip by. This tension gets my neck and my back pain to act up on top of everything. And what I've been using now for about 1.5 years now, and I've been using a lot recently, is Feels CBD.
I go through bottles of this stuff.
Just bottles on bottles, baby.
Feels Premium CBD can help with so many things, from sleeplessness and anxiety to also stress and chronic pain. And all you have to do is place a few drops under your tongue, and within minutes you'll feel the difference. And Feels helps you feel better naturally, meaning there's no high, there's no hangover, and there's no risk of addiction.
For me, the ability to fight off that nighttime anxiety and get to sleep at a decent hour is priceless. I wake up feeling ready to take on the day. And I know when I first started using Feels, I was really new to CBD and I had a lot of questions. Well, Feels offers a free CBD helpline that will answer any and all questions. It helped put my mind at ease a lot. So you can join the Feels community today to get Feels delivered to your door every month, plus a discount on products.
Feels has us feeling our best every day, and it can help you feel your best too. And you can become a member today by going to feels.com/chatty, and you're going to get 50% off your first order with free shipping.
That's big.
That's really big. That's feals.com/chatty, Feels with an A, to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. That's feels.com/chatty.
So I feel like most all families have a holiday tradition. For my family, it was that every year without fail, we got socks in our stockings. And honestly, looking back, I don't think I appreciated that enough as a child. A new pair of socks is honestly a great gift. Who doesn't love fresh feet? Also, I can't count how many times, AKA every day, I'm like, I have no socks. I can't find any.
Oh, I know.
So a new pair, great gift. Well, this year, I propose we continue the tradition of socks for Christmas or the holidays, but not just any socks, a pair of features.
And I don't say this lightly. Features are the Cadillac of socks. Let's step a notch. Let's step it up. Let's say the Rolls Royce
yes.
of socks
with new rims.
Yeah, spinning rims.
Oh my God.
For 20 years now, they've been the premium performance socks on the market, and now they have even more to offer. I like the everyday crew socks for days when I just want to be cozy around the house, but they have so many different cushion levels, and there's different ankle lengths. There's options when you're running a marathon, running the kids to school, or just watching someone run on TV. Features has a sock for everyone, and I use the running socks for everything. Like I wear my running socks when I'm wearing boots like these. I wear them all the time.
I was just about to talk about how I wear Feature socks inside. I've just been inside my house all the time recently, inside my house all day, every day with no shoes on, because the way that they craft them, where it's like where it's snug exactly and like where it arches, it feels just really good.
Yeah, and there's also like a left and right sock, and it has like a perfect little toe space for your left and right big toe.
When you slip on a Feature, I know this sounds dramatic, but when you slip on a Feature sock, it's like when you put on like a perfectly fitting glove.
Yeah,
I put it on every time I put on, I'm a little like, ooh.
I really like them.
Me too.
Big fan.
I'm not being dramatic. Okay. Also, Features has been family owned since day one. They're the sweet father and son owned company operating out of North Carolina. Like we were saying, we're obsessed with how they feel, the durability, high durability, ultra comfortable, and they even come with a lifetime guarantee. Wear them all day, every day. We love them.
Lifetime guarantee. That's so awesome.
I know.
Well, you can get $10 off your first pair of Features just in time for the holidays. And it's spelled Features like feet.
Cute.
Very cute. So features.com/chatty for $10 off your first pair. Like I was saying, that's spelled FEETURES.com/chatty.
All right. Well, next we have the group date, which is with Zach, Brendan, Ivan, Noah, and Riley. And that's when we find out that Blake is also going to be getting the one-on-one, which I am thrilled for. Like, what are they going to be doing?
I don't even know.
What could they even be doing, Blake? They're just
whatever it's going to be. He's going to get sent home for it.
Yeah, he definitely is. Maybe they're going to do another art date.
I was going to say, do you think they'll do like some sort of sexy themed thing? Like, do you think they're setting him up?
Oh yeah, Becca. Oh, you've nailed this. 100%. They keep talking about him loving sex. It's definitely going to be some
Like
erotic
BDSM
Yes.
type, like tying up thing.
an erotic date. Now the question is, will Tayshia be? Will she think it's fun with him, or is he going to be too much?
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll just be friend vibes, and he'll be bye-bye.
I hope they do a fun BDSM whips and chains
That would be super fun.
whipped cream moment with Blake.
That's actually a really good date idea too. Is be like, oh, let's pick. Maybe that's a little bit too much for ABC. I was gonna say like, let's pick a safe word.
I mean, well, they did do
Chocolate.
like they made the men get fully nude.
I know.
So and like hold their penis and balls like all the way back.
Yeah, they could do like a really goofy thing of like different people's fetishes that are like not super, like
Yes.
not super explicit type.
You know what
stuff.
I bet's gonna happen?
What?
I bet they're gonna blindfold them.
I bet that seems to be the theme of this season.
Yep. I mean, they did blindfold Tayshia at one point today,
I
or
know.
on the
know.
episode with the pinata, and I'm like, they
know.
can't resist. Just 1 week, they can't do it.
I know. Who is the crazy like
It's someone's
masochist that's in the art department,
It's
date department,
someone's-
making up this shit?
It's someone's fetish. Someone's fetish is just like, well, lucky for you, I bought 50,000 blindfolds. By the way, La Quinta, all the curtains are gone because someone's in there just cutting blindfolds out of all the curtains.
Do you see this mask? It can be a blindfold.
This towel, this terry cloth robe, blindfold, everything.
You sound like Bennett. Scary.
Very scary.
Okay,
Very
so
scary.
the polygraph test for the date. We start out with Tayshia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the first thing. No, actually, I'll get into it when we talk about it. So, Tayshia's truly falling in love. Oh, she's also falling in love with more than one person. Oh, she regrets sending someone home.
Okay, also though, like the room though. Can we talk about the room for a second?
Speaking of the art department.
It looks like they were on like a cheap set for like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like some like weird detective's office, but like more old timey. And it's not a that's the most shoddy thing I've ever seen.
Did you know that the art department had like a downstairs room in the mansion? Because there was upstairs rooms. There was like 3 rooms where all of us slept. But then the other rooms, there was like a big room that just had like supplies, literally filled with just like lotion and tampons and makeup wipes and like shit like that we might need. There was 2 different rooms that were interview rooms downstairs. There was also an art department room, and like we'd have to like go knock on the art department door if we brought like a book, and we'd have to go give our book to them for them to black out the cover of it so that nothing was branded. But yeah, we'd have to like knock on the art department and be like, here's my magazine, can you black it out please?
Just crying.
Yeah,
Can you
here's
black
my
it out?
special journal, can you black
Here's
out
the
the
book
front of
my
it?
grandmother gave me before she passed. Can
Straight
you
up.
black out the front of it?
Straight up.
I mean, that supplies closet, though. Honestly, during the 2020 times, people are going to start just signing up to be on the show to just take the supplies.
Oh,
be like,
for
we don't have toilet
sure.
paper.
I was
or
trying to take
paper
all the
towels."
makeup
Be
wipes
like,
with me. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, gosh.
And then of course there's a handler running around with a Sharpie, sharpieing all the stuff you bring, sharpieing out your deodorant, sharpieing out everything.
It's just so weird to me because we never see any of that.
Right? I know. It's like it was literally stuff in our bathroom, like our deodorant that had to be sharpied out in case.
Never see the rooms.
But it would like, I guess, ruin the scene if for some reason someone's crying in the bathroom and they're in there.
It's just so weird because it just never happens.
I know.
It's a lot of work.
Right? It's so crazy.
Jobs.
I know. We're creating jobs.
Thank you, ABC. But okay. Speaking of jobs, someone's
job was to make this room good for the lie detector thing, and someone should be fired.
Someone should be fired. Also, someone's job is to do professional polygraph tests, not
Jojo.
Jojo. Jojo, I doubt she went to school for this, okay? So clearly the way that it's set up, I don't know if you saw the computer that had like funny, like jokey lines on it.
And
like
then these giant lights, which by the way, also the sound going ding or was definitely put in post-production.
that has full-blown cords going back behind because there's either an actual person doing the polygraph test behind them
And by
who we're not
actually
seeing.
doing it, you mean a producer hitting buttons?
Exactly, because they know exactly what questions that they want to ask because they've had all the hours of interviews with the guys and know all their vulnerability points and know that maybe Brendan's they want to make you question Brendan a little bit, right? So we're going to throw up a yellow. I mean, my God. It was
or maybe we know about Riley's background and know that he changed his name. So we'll just throw in that question of let's just do something to start on a even playing field. What's your name?
I was really mad about that.
Yeah, it's so typical.
Like, we didn't see, and maybe they did it with everybody, but we didn't see anyone else.
No, I'm sure they told Jojo to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. That way that could be get wrong. Anyway,
Ugh.
Ivan, we see that he's been aroused around Tayshia and also that he wants kids.
Not surprised.
Noah, like you mentioned, they only asked him questions to make him look stupid.
Well, notice this. They only asked Ivan sweet questions, and then they only asked Noah the dumb ones. Has anyone ever faked an orgasm?
How would you
with
know, by the way?
I have no idea. That's why, of course, it's yellow. It's like, no.
I don't know.
think
If they
so.
faked it, then
I would have said yes.
Yeah,
for
I would have
sure.
too.
Made it a fun gag and be like, obviously.
yeah.
What do you think? Do I look like a selfless lover to you? I just want to run with it.
I love that.
He is ready to meet the family, though. We see that, and
He
then
does miss his mustache also.
he does. Or no, he says, "Yeah, it misses me too."
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Brendan's quaking.
Brendan is very nervous. When they asked, "Are you prepared to propose?" he says, "Yes, I hope so," which I think was actually a very good move for Brendan if it actually was a real polygraph test, because you can say, "Yes, I hope so," and that. And by the way, I saw Tayshia's face. She picked up on that.
Yeah.
She heard that it wasn't a
But
yes.
Tayshia was also acting like it's a real lie detector.
Yeah.
Like she actually believed it.
Yes. Well, as we heard Riley say later when they got to him,
Yeah.
and Jojo was like, "You must be used to these. You have your clients do them all the
Yes,
time."
and he said they're not.
And he goes, "I don't let my clients do them because they're not accurate all the time." Very sketchy to do a polygraph. Oh my gosh, can we have someone come in and do a polygraph with us? That'd be really fun. No, with Evan and Gray.
Yes, yes, and we ask them questions.
I can't wait till both of our relationships are ruined.
I know. Wait until it's like, are you still attracted to Becca? And he's like, yes. It's like, ah.
Do you still want to be in this marriage with Jessica? But
yeah. So she was acting like it's a real lie detector, which is hilarious to me
Yes.
throughout this whole thing.
And that's the one he talks about meeting his meeting her family, meeting his family, and it's that middle one.
Oh my God, I'm holding my arms like this in my sleeves, and I just realized on camera, if you're watching on YouTube, it looks like I'm in a straitjacket, so I'm going to stop doing that. Zach comes right out the gate with, "Have you cheated?" And he said, "Yes."
Okay, so then of course last week we obviously
Oh, you and I just went with our
we were like,
assumptions.
"So this on cheated and it's gonna be a whole thing." Blah 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 blah
He's
blah.
like, "How sad." And you and I were messaging like, "We'll feel so bad if people are shaming him because he cheated when he was on hard drugs." Like,
I know we were
so sad.
We were getting really like
we were
intense.
getting prepped to defend him.
We were getting like, before we ever watched the episode, we were buckling down so hard that I was like, I will defend him to the grave for this. You know what I mean? Like I sent Becca a long message about how everyone in my family is cheated. It was about to get really raw and intense. And then we find out later that he was doing it. But I will say,
I liked it.
I loved it. But I will, unpopular opinion, when I went back and rewatched when he said, "Have you ever cheated?" and he said yes, and he looked very nervous about it, I felt like it was if he knew it was a joke, and then it was when he was in 6th grade,
Sus.
he seemed really like it was intense. And again, maybe that was editing, but I was a little bit like, if I was being honest, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to say that I'm a liar if I'm being asked about if I cheated, and I know that in 6th grade I did, but I would also be like, it's a long story, I'll tell you. Like, I don't know. I'm wondering if it's gonna come up, even though he promised her. So I'm really hoping that, whatever.
So do you think that the Noah clip of "One's a cheater, always a cheater" is probably just a random clip that they throw in? Remember in Pete's season how they were saying like, and she had sex with him in the hot tub, and we never saw that clip ever except for in it? Like, do you think that that's like that it's just out of context and we're never going to actually see that?
No, I think we're gonna see it next week.
Shut up. Are you serious? But Noah probably won't even be here next week.
No, but there still is
before the
Blake's
rose
date
ceremony.
and then the
You're
rose
right, you're right,
ceremony.
you're right.
And I
Really? You think that Zach's actually cheated?
I don't know. I just the way
Okay.
that he sits seriously like, yes, I
trust you,
have
queen.
cheated. I'm a little, again though, I think it's because I just feel very nervous for a couple of these guys who I really like a lot, who I just really, I don't know. We'll see. But I did love it. If it's just that, I loved that
too.
he decided to be straight up and honest, and they had this cute convo afterwards about it. It was a very cute moment.
liked it. It definitely, yes, it made me like, it added points for him.
Also, he said he's falling in. When he said falling in love, he answered yes, and that was green. It was the truth. Then, of course, we have Riley, where he.
Also, though, something to touch on with the cheating thing, like Tayshia. I feel like the once a cheater, always a cheater thing is sort of like focusing on the wrong thing. I don't know. I don't really like that.
No, I know, me either. And that's kind of what we were going to talk about if he actually brought up that he had like legit maybe cheated on his wife or something. And then she was saying like, that's a big deal breaker for me. And I was going to be like, we should have a whole episode about this because
a whole episode about cheating.
We should have a whole episode about cheating.
It's going to be very upsetting for someone somewhere, I'm sure.
I know, probably, huh? But I would love to actually have like a professional, like a psychologist on and talk about cheating. I don't know, or someone. I just feel like there's a lot of, I don't know. I don't want to go into it, but I have a lot of opinions.
I do too. I just think like the cheating's just like a form of lying, right? With actions attached.
Yeah, with actions attached.
But like, I don't know. I guess I just don't hear people usually saying like once a liar, always a liar. It's like an interesting thing. It's like just because someone's cheated, like then when you're saying once a cheater, always a cheater, like that they're going to cheat again and again and that they can't help it because they've cheated before. Yeah. But I also have close people in my life that even like some close people who their relationship is a byproduct of cheating and they're thriving and there's been no more cheating. So like,
hot takes that I'm here for.
Yeah, it's something to talk about for sure. Anyway,
because there's so much pain there too for so many people. It's yeah. Well, so Riley, like we'd already talked about what he said about his clients, his name. He says his name, it shows up as a lie, but he also says that he is falling in love, and asks.
He says that he says he's not ready to meet the family.
He said maybe. Oh. Which then makes sense later with this conversation, of course. So then, of course, they have the drinks portion of the night. Zach and Tayshia have their moment. She right away pulls him aside because she's just like, you are one of my front runners, King. Like, please clarify. And then when he did tell the story, I was dying laughing because as soon as he starts going like, well, it was my first girlfriend. And he's like, we met up at the Bowl-O-Rama. I met up with then another girl at the Bowl-O-Rama. And my brain's going like, I know he's a little older, but the Bowl-O-Rama, like how old was he? He's just like, I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, he also said French kiss. I was like, French kiss? It's like you're talking about an adult relationship and French kissing? What?
I thought for a second he was getting really specific so that she didn't. He was like, let me make this clear.
Yeah, I thought so too. That he didn't sleep with her.
Yeah, I didn't sleep with you. There wasn't even over the pants touching.
And
it
that's
was just a French kiss.
He said French. I'm like, French kiss? What?
Excuse me,
it's called making out. Are you 60?
She was dying. She was just like so. Oh, she was so relieved.
But Jess, I can't see there being something coming out because then that would make him like a crazy liar.
That's true. I
just don't see that.
No, I don't either.
His parents show up. They're like, so have you talked to her about the infidelity?
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh, that's when he says too. He's like, I hated today. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Then I thought all of a sudden he was going to reveal something else. I was like, he's taking us on a ride. But he said that he wanted to tell her that he was falling in love with her, like, actually to her face. And then she says that she's falling in love with him too. And again, he was the first person that she mentioned falling in love. She said that about Ben, I think too now, but this is the first person she said it in person to
hard
him.
And fast.
Sexual chemistry's through the roof with the two of them.
Yeah, I still think he's weird for sure. Still don't really get it, but I like him enough. He's fine.
Well, Noah and Tayshia.
I do still stand by. I think Brennan's the best pick for her also. Not just our pick, but I think Brennan's the best one for her.
All right. I'm very interested to see these hometowns. So, yeah, then she sits with the men, of course. Noah, Ivan, Brendan.
Oh, yeah, Noah, the answers made her feel better, like you brought up.
Ivan was talking about, struggling with the proposal at the end of this because of his last relationship. Brendan Yeah, well, he was like, yeah, what the hell was that about? When the thing came up. But it made sense to me then. Oh, again, a wonderfully, I don't want to say that this in the wrong way, but normal conversation.
Yeah. How he's like, I'm just nervous because I've had a marriage before. I've had a proposal. They've had to meet I've had a wife.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm nervous about this shit.
So of course they're going to probably be a little more hesitant because this is something that's happened before.
Ain't the first time.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a very real conversation from someone who has an ex-wife or an ex-husband.
Yeah, for sure. But she gets that too.
Yeah. They have that in common. They understand each other. And then we see Riley, of course, stressing out, and he's crying in the dark. And this part is just also then absolutely heartbreaking. Where he then has the conversation with Tayshia. And we don't really...
It's a little unclear.
It's a little unclear, which I think I'm taking it as like...
intentional.
Yeah, he was intentionally probably not wanting to reveal like personal...
Yeah, I mean, it's not just having to do with him. It's family stuff. It's people in his life stuff. Like,
right. Well, we find out that he did actually change his name because his actual name is Dwayne Henderson Jr. and he's named after his dad, who said he was his best friend for 22 years. And then some things that happened with his dad that he found out later weren't good. His dad took sole custody of him and his brothers from his mom. And then after finding out things, he ended up going back to his mom. And then years later, he got his legal name changed with his mother with him. It was really intense.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he's been through so much pain and he had alluded to that before when they had the art date, and he talked about that phone call with his mom, and it seems like there's probably a lot of pain between his parents, and maybe things were not depicted truthfully to him, like about who his mother was. And either way, it was very clearly so difficult and so vulnerable for him to come forward about this.
Oh, yeah.
About this serious, heavy life shit. Like,
yeah. And I think
it was really brave. You could tell that he was so scared to talk about that stuff.
Well, Riley, who like we haven't seen like crack at all, him crying alone, like by himself, like having to have this conversation. And I really hope it was healing for him. But what I am sad about is, like I said, I think we know probably who the top 4 are. And I feel pretty confident that those are the top 4 because I think that if she was going to choose Riley as the top 4, she would have given him the rose then.
Yeah, I agree.
Not been like, I'm holding the rose off because I have to
know,
process.
But it just also didn't seem right for her. Yes. And it's like, it almost in the context of all those conversations, it would almost be wrong to give it to someone other than Riley.
That's what I'm saying. It was like that conversation took so much from him that if she would have given the rose to, like, let's just say, I know Zach, I'm for sure gonna be with you, and we had a cute conversation, blah blah blah, I'm gonna give you the rose. Like, that would have felt
that would not
wrong.
look, and that wouldn't look good either.
Which makes me think she's not gonna choose Riley.
I know it's a big decision going in the top 4, and they just don't seem to have the same connection and chemistry that's there with some of the other guys.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the contenders for the 4.
I know. She's like, again,
Brendan,
there's
Zach,
so many
Ivan,
options.
Yeah,
there's a lot of options, and she's, it doesn't maybe just seem like maybe her relationship has progressed as quickly with Riley.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's another contender for the top 4.
Oh my God, I forgot, because someone decides that he refuses to go away.
And I called it, by the way. When he left in the limo, I was saying out loud to myself, because Grayson was asleep, I was saying, he's coming back. He is coming back.
Becca, I didn't know that this, like, I had seen clips of her opening the door and like gasping, but I didn't know that it was happening on this episode. I kind of thought, I'm like, oh, the episode's almost done.
Yeah.
And also that I had seen people like, is it JPJ? Is it her ex? Blah, blah, blah.
No, it's just Bennett.
I screamed. The visceral
the way he was smiling
scream
there was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
She opened the door and it hit her.
I know.
Because that was genuine shock.
But what's so bizarre?
Tayshia, hello, hi. Oh. Did you also notice that he he was like a new person. It was like he
Stop. He's really scary to me.
like it was like he walked away and he was like I've never seen Bennett smile more ever. He's never been like this super like, and the whole time he wouldn't stop smiling, and maybe that was nerves, but also maybe it's very just scary.
I feel like he got his phone back and he's listening to like motivational speeches on Audible.
Maybe
He's just prepping himself and he was like, fake it till you make it.
We're going to do this together.
Make the dream happen.
Yes.
Just like all these crazy little like, mottos and slogans.
Oh my God.
So he showed up and he's just like, hello, Tayshia. Hello, Clarice.
Do you like my new smile, Clarice?
I found these teeth. Found them, you might ask. No, I suppose I harvested them.
Oh my God. What are these?
I thought she was going to be like, Bennett, you need to go. This is where, once again, I'm shocked, floored,
Flabbergasted.
Come on, more 6th grade synonyms. Shocked.
Dismayed.
Surprised.
Aghast.
Petrified.
I mean.
Yeah, well, we can stop there. So.
No, I was on the same exact train. I was like, okay, first of all, run.
Second of all, he walks into the room and says, it smells nice in here.
Smells fresh.
Smells fresh.
He compliments her dress, which I'm like, okay, that's great. And then with the way that the camera
It's not
was
a dress,
filming,
by the way.
Wasn't a dress?
It's like a romper with a weird train.
Well,
I bet Carrie forced her to wear that.
yeah, this was a Carrie pull for sure. She could only say no to so many,
It's probably in the contract. She
Probably
has
in
to
the contract.
approve 1 out of 4 outfits.
Well, when the camera's following them, for a moment, the way that he walked in and the camera was behind, I thought he was going to close the door and then that like we were going to, have like an outside view. And I was like, don't leave him alone. Yeah. Tayshia, turn around. Tayshia.
Grab the knife! The knife!
Don't turn your back on him.
Don't let him in there now.
He just said the room smells fresh.
And he reveals that he's not falling for her. He's not falling in love with her. He is not in love with her. He loves her.
I mean, he just went from, home play. He did a full home run. He skipped all those bases. He went straight to the finish.
Although I can't remember if love or in love is which one's deeper, according to Bachelor terms.
I feel like
I seem to feel like in love is
if I were to look
higher.
Well,
in Bachelor world,
maybe I just feel like looking at someone and being like, I'm in love with you versus I love you.
I mean, I completely agree, but I feel like in Bachelor world, in love comes after I love you.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I feel like I'm in love with you is like in the conversation. It happens at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like I think I'm in love with you, and then at the end of it, you make out, blah, 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 and then it's just like, I love you. And they're like in bed together. They're like, I love you. No, I love you. I love you.
It's usually at the end of Hometowns.
So. Yeah.
I love you.
He reveals her face. She's absolutely speechless. And at first I think she is about to scream like all of us are screaming, a united scream. But she is, then I notice, holding his leg.
I noticed that too. And that's where everything got confusing for me. That's where I got
the
all
room was
shook
spinning.
up. Yes, exactly.
I thought
it's
I was
like
going to pass out.
It's like when you fall off a boogie board in the ocean and you're just like spinning. You don't know what's up or down.
There's a fucking sand crab up my butt. There's so much sand in my vagina. My head, I have a little bit of blood from the temple, and I come out like onto the sand, and I see
your bikini tops falling off.
One tit is out, and I see Tayshia and Bennett holding hands, and I'm just like, what?
That was what happened to me too.
It was wild, and
what the fuck? Is this too much? Like that we're basically insinuating that he's like a serial killer?
I don't think so.
Because I'm actually scared of him. Poor guy. Maybe poor. No. It's like deleting all mean comments off of his
that
Instagram.
that is some tea we didn't talk about. So I had numerous broads slide into the DMs to let us know that this last week, after his box episode with
Young
Noah, that he posted something, and they were like, numerous people had commented something about the episode that wasn't positive, and he apparently was deleting all negative comments, to the point that we had a couple broads who like intentionally were like, I'm gonna go on, write something that like I didn't like you in the last episode, and then he would remove it right away. So because I remember I looked on his, probably like 2 days later,
there's like 200 comments and it's nothing but nice stuff,
and it was only just all positive, and I'm just like, I was shocked to the core. I'm like, wait, hold on a second, he posted something and all that it is love and positivity.
Your outfit's great.
No one was ajar like us by the whole gift situation.
Did you look at Noah's comments by any chance?
I did, and it seemed like he's getting a lot of positive comment, like way more positive comments now. But there's still definitely people who are like not into him. That's for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, but when I looked at Bennett's thing, all I saw was positive comments. And I'm like, oh my God, not a single other person was horrified by the situation.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, says she has a lot that is going on in her head. She needs to process it. I love, though, he tries to kiss her and she pulls away and goes, no, nice try. And we see her in an interview say, which again, I can't even believe that she says, like, it's been a while since I heard I love you, and like it meant something. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Does that mean like it meant, not that it meant something to you for the first time, right? Because you just had that moment with Zach. Yeah. But she then says, I know that Bennett means it. And I do have to say this. As much as Bennett really scares me, I would think with any other person, the whole I'm going to come back and try the I love you card, I'd be like, wow, that's just obviously a move, to like a last minute move to try to stay in. I actually think maybe he does love her.
I think he doesn't understand what that means.
Yeah, maybe is obsessed with the idea of them together in all of their homes in many locations in the US of A.
With paintings of them above the fireplace and whatnot.
Yes. He's already commissioned a painting of them together.
He's picking what private school their children will go to.
And honestly, canceling a commissioned painting is expensive, and he does not want to waste
He's already put a deposit down.
No, so she must be with him.
Yeah.
She must.
I feel like that's kind of what is going through his head.
A little bit.
Like, I already got his and hers, like a breakfast dining table sets.
Gosh, yes, he definitely has like one of those breakfast in bed trays that has her name inscribed in mahogany, for sure.
She's like, that's not really my aesthetic.
And he's just like, it will be
bamboo.
It will be your aesthetic. Tayshia, dear Tayshia. Young Noah and dear Tayshia. Well, she's tripping out, and I'm guessing that we're gonna have Noah, that she's gonna bring him back, but just for the rose ceremony, and then I think she's gonna send him and Noah and everybody else home except those top 4 guesstimations that we have. But who knows? And with that, broads, here's the deal. So obviously we just did this recap, but then on Friday we have an episode coming out that is, it's been a long time since we did an Ask Us Anything episode. So we actually just recorded it earlier, and it was really, really fun. You guys are gonna love the episode. But after that, we've got just numerous the next couple weeks are only Bachelorette episodes, because there's going to be 2 episodes of Bachelorette airing every week for the next couple weeks. So we'll post a calendar, keep you all updated, because it's very confusing. And in fact, I'm confused.
But you're going to love the episode on Friday.
But you're going to love it. It's a good one. And we talk about some real personal stuff, way more deeply personal in certain ways than we've talked in quite some time.
So you're going to enjoy it.
You're going to enjoy it.
And with that, chat soon, broads.
Chat soon, broads.
Bye.